Have you ever had one of those weeks where, like, everything that could not go wrong, but go how you did not intend it to go happens, where everything just changes, and then you have no control over everything, and then you're spiraling, and then life's moving at you fast, and you realize that being an adult is not worth the hype? Well, that was my week, and we're going to talk all about it on this week's episode of Literally My Life, the podcast. I'm happy to be back on yet another My Guide to Girlhood Monday. Talking to you guys, literally getting on the mic and like venting and bawling and getting it all out. It definitely takes me back to our OG podcast days. So, yay, I'm happy to be back. This week was just like, it wasn't a bad week. I don't want to complain. I'm definitely working on reshaping my mindset from like negativity to positivity and having like a growth mindset and stuff like that. So I didn't have like a bad week. It just did not go how I intended it to go. And as somebody I've shared on here before, as somebody who's a huge control freak, as somebody who wants control over everything and wants to be right about everything, it definitely was terrifying and scary to not be able to control everything. It was actually really, really scary, but God is getting me through. Before we get into this week's recap and talking about my crazy life, make sure to follow Literally My Life's Instagram and TikTok. Both are in our episode description. Make sure to subscribe to our newsletter, although I'm not going to lie, guys, I've been kind of dropping the newsletter ball. I have to get back on the daily blogs. Like, she's coming back. And subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not watching on YouTube, because I have a lot of vlogs coming out. I have a Disco Lines vlog coming out tomorrow, which I'm really excited to post. And I just have like a lot of stuff coming out on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to that. And now we will get into my crazy week, because it's actually not real. I'm going to start off with telling you what happened in a brief way, because I don't want to just get on here and just vent to you guys about all my problems and be like, okay, see you next week, like sayonara. Plans I was excited about didn't work out the way that I expected. I've also been navigating a lot of personal stuff, and there's been a lot of uncertainty and change in my life at once. I'm at that weird point in your late teens, early 20s, where you realize that you don't know what you're doing. And you look at your parents and you're like, how did they manage to have kids and like pay bills and, you know, do all this stuff, and there's not even a phone in my name? That's the scissor reference, but no, it's genuinely such a striking question. It's like, how were my parents able to keep it all together and raise little humans, and I gave them all this hell, and I can't even raise myself? I just don't know what I'm doing with my life, guys, and I feel like sometimes I make very impulsive and poor decisions. Like, you know what? I really should not be telling you guys this, but if you're listening to the podcast, then you're just like such like an OG that I just like have to tell you. This weekend after Disco Lines, I went with my friend to this guy's apartment to hang out with some of our other friends, and it was just, you know, we were just all hanging out. But I should have left. I should not have stayed past probably like 1:30, and I stayed till 4 a.m. for no good reason. Nothing interesting or exciting. And I like put this on my mother. Nothing interesting or exciting happened. Nothing fun happened. I literally just overstayed my welcome because I was acting like Carrie Bradshaw, and I just had this like thought in my head. I was like, I need to talk to one of our friends. I need everything to like go the way it should go in my head. And that didn't happen. That definitely did not happen. And I stayed there till 4 a.m. looking like an idiot, which was not fun at all. What a sour way to end Disco Lines. And then Sunday I like kept thinking about that, and I was overthinking it, and I was like, oh my god, why do I keep overthinking this? And that's just one of many examples of me making poor decisions. Now, I don't want to like criticize myself too much, because, you know, this is my first time being on my own. This is my first time having to make decisions for myself, because usually, you know, when you're in high school, you like call your mom and like, hey, can I go over this person's house? And she's like, yes or no or whatever. But now you can always say yes, and you can go out every single night if you want to and party until your lungs fall out. Or you could make responsible and good decisions. That's what I'm trying to do. But it's been rough. I thought this week would turn out differently than it did, and it didn't. And that situation is a good example. Now I'm going to tell you guys how it made me feel. Between the situation I just talked about, between having to move out in 2 weeks from Colorado to Chicago, between the family drama that I talked about in our life update episode, between like all of those things, I've felt so many emotions. I felt overwhelmed. I feel frustrated. I feel disappointed. I feel questionary things. I just don't feel good about the situations or the circumstances in my life. I mean, from what I've shared with you guys, I don't think anybody would. Like, it's not a fun thing to go through, feeling so overwhelmed and like needing your mom here, and your mom's 900 miles away. Do you guys know that whenever I meet like in-state kids who are from Colorado that go here, I am so jealous of them, because especially the ones that commute, because it's like, you don't even understand. You get to go home to your mom every night. Like, your life is so much better, and so, not like so much better or like perfect, because you're not supposed to compare, but it's just like you get to have something that I don't, or even kids that like live an hour away or 2 hours away, whatever. They don't even understand what I would do for that. And so because I don't have my mom here and I don't have any familial support here, I feel alone a lot of the time. Yesterday I sat in my dorm all day, and I was just like alone in my dorm all day, which is fine. Like, I do that a lot. I live alone. I'm always alone. I'm okay with that. But I started to feel really overwhelmed and sad, and then I started crying, and I started like really freaking out. And then I was like, wow, I need to go talk to someone, because being alone and isolating myself and feeling lonely isn't going to make it any better. And I just told my friends, I was like, I felt like I was doing everything right, and still everything got thrown off. And I feel like I don't make the best decisions. Like, why would I sit in that apartment until 4 a.m.? Why do I do the things that I do? Why am I so avoidant? Like that, you know what, guys? I'm just going to go off book here. Like, I was told not to talk about this stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. I feel like such an avoidant person at times. And that is something that really bothers me and really I struggle with. Actually, I'm going to look for the screenshot. I screenshotted this thing the other day. Here. It was like a joke on Instagram Reels, but it said, all my reels are actually about so many different men. I'm actually an avoidant manipulative female with commitment issues, but it's okay because I'm chill. And I like reposted that as a joke. But let me tell you something. There's truth in every joke. I feel so avoidant. It's not okay. And it really bugs me. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's the first thing, like when I open my eyes in the morning, it's the first thing I think about. It really, really bugs me that I run away from every situation that could be good or bad for me, because I just don't want to take the risk of it being bad. And I'm not just talking about with guys and relationships, although that's a big part of it. I'm just talking about like getting closer to people in general, because I've had sour experiences with people in the past. I'm like letting that affect the way that I make friends now, or how I date now, or how I treat people now. And it's making me question my self-worth. And if anybody's like dealing with this, I would love for you guys to like give me the advice for a change, and tell me how you got over something like that, because I don't want to be an avoidant person. I'm not a stone cold hard person. I know I can present myself to be like that. I know I do have tough skin. I know that I'm a girl from a big city. Like, I know how to hustle and bustle and maneuver, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a sensitive gangster. I'm not even a gangster at all. I'm just sensitive. I'm a sensitive person, and I feel things so deeply, and I feel like, I don't know if that's a gift or a curse or what, but I feel things so deeply. And because I know that I have such a big heart and that I feel things so deeply, I will run away from particular situations, because I don't want to risk feeling those things so deeply and then getting disappointed. Because in my opinion, getting your heart broken like that, whether it's by anyone in your life, is the worst feeling ever. You don't want to get out of bed. You're crying all the time. You feel low about yourself. You have low self-esteem. This is something that I'm genuinely working through. But I don't want to punish other people for my past. There's this quote that I love. It's literally, I'm misquoting it though, but I love it. And it's like, if you don't heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on those that never cut you. And I used to quote that to like all my friends. I remember I had a good girlfriend in high school, and I gave her that advice. And genuinely, I'm not even kidding, that's me. I have become the person that needs the advice. I am bleeding on people that have never cut me. Like, oh, guys, okay. I met this person like 2 weekends ago. I don't even remember now because the weekends just all blur together because that's the lifestyle I'm in now in college. And I met this person, and he was a nice guy. He had a gentleness about him, a softness about him that they really liked, and he seemed like a really nice person. But I'm usually wrong about that kind of thing, but whatever. I thought everything went well. We had an interesting conversation. We seemed good. And then the next day, he had added himself on my Snapchat, and the next day he left me undelivered for like 17 hours. And I like unadded him. Like, that's just my instinct. Like, if you take too long to snap me back and you're like a guy I'm potentially interested in, I like unadd you. I'm so serious about that. I've never played about my standards. But then I felt bad later on because I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, I made the right decision or whatever. Even though I might see him around and it might be awkward, I feel like I made the right decision because what would take you so long? But my other friends have him on Snap, and he takes forever to snap like everyone back. And although I do think I made the right decision, I feel like it was just an avoidant tendency. Like, I just ran to, he's not interested, let me run away, instead of like asking him about it or whatever. And I think I may have messed something up, and it's really eating at me because I feel avoidant, I feel cynical, I feel bad, and I really shouldn't be telling you guys this, but I'm not in therapy now, so the camera's the therapist. and I just have to, I'm gonna say like, I have to get over it. I don't have to get over it. I'm just still trying to process, why I feel so sad about it, or why I feel so down, because I don't want to be a cynical person. I feel like the thing that's bothering me the most is people who are meeting me now are not getting to meet the real version of me, because I'm not stone cold and like the Samantha Jones person, although I love her. I'm not. I'm kind, and I'm affectionate, and I'm deeply sensitive, and I'm very empathetic and very considerate and very loving, and I don't want to hurt people the way that I've been hurt. And the track that I'm moving on now, I'm going to do that. And I feel like this is the first time I've done that. Now, is he probably like upset crying about me? Probably not. But I probably did like not make the right decision. And, you live and you learn, you reflect, and, you move on, you reflect and relax. But it's good that I can at least I can identify the behaviors and be like, you know what, this was wrong. I shouldn't push people away because I think they don't like me, or because you never know. I'm an adult. One thing that I say to my friends, like, I've literally lost friends over this. I'm like, I think it is so annoying when you have an issue and you don't communicate it. And then I'm doing that. I did that with this guy. I'm like, I'm not going to communicate my issue with you. I'm just going to like completely like remove you out of my life. How stupid. But let's talk about the shift, because I wrote this out and I was like, this is what I need to keep reminding myself, because I had a talk with my friend yesterday. She was so sweet. Like, I was crying, guys. I was panicking. I was having one of those moments where it was like, I really genuinely do not know what I'm doing with my life at all. And then I had to check myself and realize I serve a known God, and I can surrender an unknown future to him. And I don't have to be worried about the future all the time. That was something, you guys know, I've been diagnosed with anxiety a few times. And when I went to therapy and like treatment for it, a lot of my therapists would always tell me, like, you don't have to worry about the future all the time. Like, why is tomorrow constantly on your brain? And I'm like, that is so true. Because to keep wishing and waiting for tomorrow is to waste today. And I'm like one of those people who just are like, I can't relax until all these things get done. And I have to surrender that. I have to surrender the control. I have to surrender my anxiety. I have to do that because I'm living life as a nervous wreck. I'm sleeping around all day. Like, I literally slept in bed all day yesterday. I'm not getting certain things done. I have a bad attitude. I'm crying a lot. Like, I'm just a nervous wreck because I can't surrender not being in control. And that's not going to work. I don't want to live an anxious life. That's why I gave my life to the Lord in the first place. I gave my life to the Lord because not only did he save me and sacrifice his life for mine, but because the way that I was living my life did not coincide with the way that he wants me to live my life. And when I surrendered my life to him, when I gave my life to the Lord and got baptized, I decided to live life the way that he wants me to live. And he wants me to surrender all my problems to him. You know, like there's a quote that I love, and it's like, God isn't going to take your problems away. He didn't remove the Red Sea. He just parted it. He's always going to make a way for you to get through. And that's the truth. And so I'm like, why am I so stressed? Like, I just need it all to be over. I need to pass my finals. I need to pass all my classes. I need to get everything done. And I need to move and get back to Chicago, and then I'll be happy. And that's like putting a timeline on happiness. And that's literally the first thing I learned in therapy not do. I'm doing everything I'm not supposed to do, which is open and honest, but kind of sucks. But it's funny to say it out loud, but like, this is something that has really been stressing me. I keep saying, like, I just can't be happy until it all gets fixed, and that's not fair to the Lord, because I know he's going to fix it anyway. I've been in situations like this before where it's like I'm genuinely so stressed out about starting high school or moving to college or whatever. I felt the same way a million times, and everything worked out then. God made a way every time for me. So why am I stressing now? Why am I staying up all night crying? Why am I, feeling so upset when I know that God's going to make a way? Because he's never let me down before. I saw that. Like, I've seen it in my life, and God has genuinely, and I'm not trying to preach, I'm not trying to be Sarah Jakes Roberts, although we love her. But I'm just saying, I'm a person of faith. To know me is to know Bible. And God has never let me down before. I genuinely don't think he'll ever let me down, ever. Ever. He never has and never will. So why am I living my life like he will? So talking to you guys, getting this out, you guys are literally my therapist. I'm realizing that I have to surrender the uncertain to God. That is hard for somebody with anxiety, especially somebody who has a lot of anxiety about the future. That is really hard for me. But I know that I can do it because I trust God. I trust a power that I can't even understand or fully explain, but I just know, like, in my heart and in my soul. And I think that's faith. Like, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I trust in God, even though I don't see him, even though I don't hear him. I know he's there, and I know he's with me at all times. And I know that he'll solve all my problems. And then I also, feel guilty about that because I don't think I've been living, a godly life lately. Like, to be completely open and honest with you guys, I am in college. I have done some of the typical things that you do when you're in college. And it feels like a moral dilemma because it's like you love the world, but you also love God. But God comes before all of the things. And then it's like, well, why? That's not fair for me to surrender my problems to God and be like, God, fix this, fix that, and I can't even listen to his commands. I can't even listen to his word. But then you realize that's not the kind of God that we serve. God isn't a human. God isn't going to be like, oh, well, you didn't do this for me, so I'm not going to do this for you. Because that's just not how God is. He's full of love. He is love. Like, love keeps no record of wrongdoings. It washes all of your sin, all of your past transgressions, everything that you do wrong. True love washes that away. And that's what God is. He is the embodiment of true love. And so for him to even care about my problems when I've been what feels like the world's biggest sinner in the last I'd say the last 2 months. It just feels insane. It feels like something I can't even explain. And I do want to turn my life around. That's something I also wanted to talk to you guys about. In the last 2 months, I feel like I've definitely gotten off track and I haven't been myself and I've been completely derailed. And I don't want to be that person. I still get things done, but I don't feel as focused. I don't feel like my head's on, my shoulders right. I feel like it's a little crooked. And I don't want to live like that. I want God to be my main priority, not the world. And I'm being honest with you guys about that. So if you are watching and you pray every night, I would ask that you put me in your prayers and that you help me fight this battle against my flesh and, God. Because, one of my favorite verses in the Bible is and I can't quote it correctly because I don't even read my Bible enough these days. One of my favorite verses is when Saul, who became Paul, was talking about how he always wants to do right, but like a dog returns to its own vomit, a fool returns to his sin. And that's what I've been feeling. Like, I want to do right. My heart wants to do right. I don't want to say like I'm a good person, but I have a good heart. I have pure intentions. I have a genuine heart. I don't want to do wrong. But it's like, it's so easy to get caught up in the lifestyle, especially when you're in college and not a lot of people are Christians. Not a lot of people are focused on serving the Lord or even serving themselves. They're just doing whatever. So it's so easy to get caught up in the world. It's so easy to get caught up in the crowd. And I don't want that. So I would suggest you guys pray for me, please. I'm going to be praying for me. And I just have to start making the right decisions, because even though the wrong ones feel good, they feel good temporarily. They only feel good temporarily. Like, nothing is going, and this is coming from somebody who's tried everything, nothing is going to truly fulfill the void in your heart except for the love of God. And I know that sounds really like weird. I know that sounds so bad, but it's the truth. Like, drinking's not going to you can't drink it away. You can't smoke it away. You can't keep yourself busy all day. You can't sleep it off or any of those things. Sleep with all these people. You can't do any of that. Nothing is truly going to fill that void, that emptiness in your heart, except for the love and the peace that comes with loving the Lord and serving the Lord. I know this because I've tried all of the above and nothing has worked. The only thing that genuinely brings me peace and joy down deep in my soul is the love and faithfulness of Jesus. Because when everyone leaves you, when situations don't work out, when you're alone, that's who's going to be there for you. I was leaving the apartment at 4 a.m. the other day. I walked home alone back to Willville, pitch black outside. And I'm walking home and I'm realizing what I said in my podcast a couple of episodes ago. I can't even remember which one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going home to the two people that I can't betray, because this is the two people I'm always going home to. And it was the Lord and myself. I literally was covered and protected because so much stuff happens in Boulder. There was actually a girl who went missing last year trying to walk back to her dorm. So it was like I was covered and protected. I was walking home alone in the dark, and God was able to allow me to get me home safely. He covered me, and I'm very grateful for that. And then I realized, I was like, you know, I'm leaving all the things that I'm trying to fill this void with, and I'm going home to the obvious answer and solution that I'm running away from. Why do I run? That's a question, that's a rhetorical question, because I can't understand it. Why do I run? If I know this is the clear and the obvious answer to all my problems, why do I run so far from him? You know, there's a quote I love that says, you could never run so far you can't come back home, which is the truth. But it's just a question. If we've seen time and time again that God is the answer to your solutions to all your problems, to your pain, to your hurt, to your trauma, to your relationship issues, to everything, why do we run from him? Why do we run so far? My solution is I'm going to stop running. My solution is I have to surrender my life to the Lord. I have to ask him for clarity. I have to ask him to fix the situation that I'm in, because I feel bad. I feel like a weight on my conscience for how I, ran away from what could have potentially been a good situation for myself. And I need him to repair that. I need him to repair the sadness that I feel that I'm not with my family. The sadness that I feel like I have a broken relationship with my family in Colorado. I want God to repair that within me. I don't want to feel broken or hurt or disappointed or unwanted or any of that anymore. And I'm not trying to convey, I know I get on here and vent to you guys a lot about some of the negative stuff in my life, but I really do have a beautiful life. And that's all because of the grace of God. I genuinely was never supposed to be here. I was never supposed to have a podcast. I was never supposed to have anything that I have today. And God has blessed me so much. Beyond my wildest dreams, God has blessed me. And I don't deserve the blessings that I get. Guys, when I went to Disco Lines on Saturday, I was trying to impress this guy. I'm not even kidding. And everybody that came up to me that night and was like, oh, are you on TikTok, or can I ask you for photos? I was like, no, not tonight or whatever. And I was even rude to one girl. She asked me, and this is something that is really upsetting me. I have to get on TikTok and apologize to this girl. I'm going to make this video. She was like, are you on TikTok? And I'm like, and I walked away. Such a B move, acting like a complete B trying to impress a man. Is that the person I want to be? I want to hurt the people that support me trying to impress a man. I'm so ashamed about that. So if she sees this, I'm genuinely so sorry. I want to meet you and give you the biggest hug. I'm actually so sorry. But my shift is I'm going to stop running from God. I'm going to stop running from the things that I know are right, because I don't want to be the dog that returns to my own vomit anymore. I'm going to walk the other way, into the clean, fresh air. Okay? Now, here's what I'm learning, okay? I'm learning that my first lesson is you cannot control everything. Effort does not equal guaranteed outcome. You cannot control everything, and that's okay. Because the person that we know controls everything has never let us down and never will. I wrote these down. Second thing is not everything that falls through is a loss. Okay, some things are protection or redirection. Have you ever really wanted to go out with a guy? Maybe he didn't like you back, maybe you weren't his type or whatever, and then you hear all this stuff about him and you're like, oh my god, thank god I didn't go out with him, like he's such a liar, or he's a cheater, or he's a really mean guy, or whatever. That's, rejection sometimes is protection. So sometimes when things fall through, and this can be applied to the situation that I'm going through right now, sometimes when things fall through, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's God protecting you from going in a room, opening a door to a room that you're not supposed to be in. Third, stop forcing what isn't flowing. If it's constant resistance, pause. If it's meant for you, it will be for you. I genuinely do believe that. If God has something for you, no angel in heaven and no demon in hell can block it. Okay? So if something is not working out, like let's say you want something so bad and it's just not coming into fruition, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe God has bigger or better plans for you that he wants you to follow, and you can't follow them if you're going to keep chasing this thing that's not for you. My fourth lesson, protect your energy during unstable moments. Don't let one bad situation spill into everything. You don't want to become a pessimist. You don't want to become cynical. And you don't want to carry the guilt that I'm carrying because I'm realizing I'm bleeding on people that never cut me. Don't ever let a cruel world make you a cruel person. Keep that soft heart, because at the end of the day, that is the most beautiful prize. Like my friend Sydney, who's here today, she told me that when we go to heaven, none of this stuff is going with us. Not our nice cars, not our nice clothes, none of our jewelry, not our homes. Nothing is going with us but our souls. So cherish your soul, because that's the only thing about you that's eternal. My last lesson is you don't need to have it all figured out. You genuinely don't. Uncertainty is a part of growth. And the good news is we're at the ages where it's kind of cute to not have everything figured out. It's kind of cute to be running around and having a cute little office girly job and not knowing what you're doing. It's okay to spill coffee on yourself, and it's okay to not know what you do or don't like, and when you want to get married, and if you want to have kids. It's okay. I think what's meant for you will always find you, because what God has meant for you won't miss you. So even as someone who's building something and chasing big goals, I still have weeks like this. I still have weeks where I don't know what I'm doing. I still have weeks where everything feels complicated. I still have weeks where I just don't feel like myself. But the great thing about serving the God that I serve is no matter how far I run, I can always come back home. So no matter how strange I feel, I always come back to myself. Because those are the two people that are not going anywhere. You'll always have Jesus, and you'll always have yourself. So never compromise either. I genuinely love you guys so much. This was such a therapeutic and amazing episode. You guys don't even understand. I had to get this out. I had to talk to you guys about this. And I'm just so blessed to have you guys. I really, really am. I love you guys so much. And there's so many more podcast episodes coming. So make sure to stay tuned, subscribe to our newsletter, stay on track with our socials. And if you're seeing this and you're struggling, with your flesh, just pray to God to surrender. Surrender your flesh to him, because we can surrender all things. Through Christ, you can do all things. So I hope you guys keep me in your prayers. I will see you guys next week on yet another episode of Literally My Life, the podcast. Bye.